Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. It's been a great weekend for Arsenal, for both the men and the women's team. I've got a very special guest today. Thank you so much, Jonesy, for coming on the channel today. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. A little bit froggy and a bit of a hangover from yesterday's result, but yeah, I'm doing well. It's great to come on. Great to come on.
Oh
Thanks for
no,
inviting.
I'm really happy to have you on because I know we've spoken about this for like a little while and it's now happening.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm very happy to have you on. But in this video, guys, we will be talking about the Arsenal win against Leeds. Before we go into the game, I did want to get your thoughts on the lineup. Obviously Saka was benched. What are your overall thoughts on the lineup? And were you surprised to see Saka get that rest?
yeah, it's quite surprising to be fair because he seems to play every minute of every game we've got had this season. So it was quite a surprise. I didn't literally being in the stadium. I didn't know why he was benched, and it
Mm,
wasn't till after and like match of the day when you found out he was feeling under the weather. Um, but it was good. It was good to see the team play without him. To see they could do it without him. I know we started off a little bit ropey at the beginning, um,
mm.
but yeah, it's good for him to have a rest as well. Be it he's ill, but it's still giving him a rest for what's coming up next was great to see. To be fair,
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see Saka bench because I know Arteta's always played Saka this season despite different injuries that have happened. So I think, to be honest, though, Saka does deserve a rest because he's played non-stop and we don't want him to get injured. So I suppose it was like a good thing. Also with Rob Holding coming in, how were you feeling about that? Obviously, I think Arteta's probably saving like Saliba for probably Anfield or harder games. But what are your thoughts on Rob Holding coming into the game?
I've been people know me. I don't like Rob Holding, and I'm not just because he's playing well. I'm not going to say he's great just because he's doing great. I just don't like him, but at the end of the day, I can't, dismiss what he done yesterday. He done a great job, I'm happy when Ron Holding gets the ball and just gets rid of it. As long as he don't do nothing special with it or try any turns or anything like that. If he just does his job well, then he's fine in the team. But it was good to see him come in. It was good I think it's good for his confidence as well.
Mhm,
Um, because like you said, there's a lot of tough tests coming, and if Saliba isn't fit, he could be a crucial part of that defence. Him
mhm.
and Gabriel. So it was good to see him play well. He didn't do any mistakes, not that I saw live at the game or anything like that. So he was just very calm and composed at the back line with Gabriel, and they both seemed to like control the back pretty well yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I think Rob Holding's kind of stepped up really because, well,
Mm.
in the games he's came in, I know for me, when I see Rob Holding play, he doesn't make, mistakes or like the odd red card. So I was relieved that he's not done that.
Yeah,
I definitely think he's playing really well. I think he's probably got a bit of confidence at the moment, obviously coming in, doing his job, and I think he's done a good job. I think obviously he doesn't probably have the, pace Saliba has, so a lot of us would rather Saliba, but
yeah,
I think when you look at it, we've got, like, Anfield coming up, we've got Newcastle, all of those tough games, so I think if we can rest Saliba for that and get away with playing Rapaldi, then I think, um, that'll be okay. Also, on this comment, I do need to be careful. Do you know what?
I
You
saw
know,
that.
since since that's happened yesterday, I still think the spider's in my room, so I hope I don't get a fright again today, but yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was
Now
funny.
talking on the game, I did want to get your thoughts on, like, the performance and the result. What did you make of that win?
Yeah, I mean, the first half an hour, 35 minutes, it was pretty
Mm,
tough. Leeds done well, to be fair. Um, they had, it started off, it could have been just like Bournemouth. They attacked us straight away, and there was a good
yeah,
save from Ramsdale right at the beginning. But yeah, first 30 minutes, we wasn't great. We allowed Leeds into the game, but from the moment we got the penalty and Jesus
mm,
scored it, we seemed to just take control of the game pretty comfortably. And yeah, we went into half time. We could have probably had another couple before half time, to be fair. But it was great. Second half, we come out straight away. And it's great to see Ben White scoring again. Love that guy to pieces. He's absolutely brilliant at the moment. And then we just seemed to dominate it. But you could tell when Party went off, you
mm,
could see we lost a bit in that midfield. And their goal was very lucky, to be fair. It took a deflection to get
yeah,
to him, then a deflection off Zinchenko. So they were quite lucky. But it's just that nervousness that you get around the stadium a bit. Even though we were 3-1 up, it was just you can tell. we don't care how we win at the moment, just as long as we win. But in the end, it just turned out pretty comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, it was quite a slow start from Arsenal. I think
Mhm.
Leeds were probably the better side in the first 30 minutes, but I just think having that penalty like helped us. Do you think it helped us like gain confidence? Because like you said, it was a slow start and I just felt like if we hadn't have got that penalty in the first half, I couldn't probably have seen us scoring. So, yeah, would you say that helped us go on and score more goals in the game?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say once we got that penalty and we scored it, you could see the team just built on from that. The confidence seemed to flow then through the team, in that way, Leeds had to come out a bit more than they had to. So yeah, we could hit them on the counter a bit more. But yeah, it definitely you could feel it. There was like a relief in the air once we scored it, just so we got one, and then we could build on it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they pushed on.
Definitely, because I think we were struggling to score, and with Saka on the bench, I was worried, like, would
Mm.
that affect our play? Because he's sort of been the guy this season that's really got us going and got them goals. So I was like worried, but I do think as soon as we got that penalty, that was us, and obviously we grew in confidence, especially in the second half.
Yeah,
And I think for me, like, as well as like Jesus taking it, I think that was just so important because he's obviously been out injured, and I did
mm,
think Odegaard was going to take it, but
yeah.
I was really happy to see Jesus take it. Do you think for you, like, that helped him with the with confidence throughout the game? Because obviously he did go on to score another goal.
Yeah, no, definitely. You could tell, and that's what's great about the team spirit at the moment. You know, Odegaard, who's probably the penalty taker, with Saka's not on.
Mm.
I mean, he gives it to Jesus. He knows how much a goal would mean to him because his last goal was back in October. So, and then he had the injury. So it's going to help him scoring goals. That's what strikers do, and you know that gives them confidence. And then even his second goal was brilliantly taken as well. That great little cutback from Trossard, and Jesus was there to stick it in. So you could just see he looked a bit disappointed, to be fair, when he got taken off. Um,
Yeah.
that's what you want to see. You want him to stay on, and he wanted a hat trick. Basically, that's what all strikers pretty much want. But you could tell we got to ease him back in, like you said as well. We got more important games to come.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, with Jesus not scoring since like October,
Mm,
that would have been like a real high pressured moment because if he hadn't have like if he took it and he missed, it would have been
yeah,
probably quite bad for his confidence. And I just think him taking that was so important because it's just great to have him back in the team. He's been out for such a long time and you can really see the difference he is making. Of
yeah,
course, like we have had other goal scorers, but I think we've really missed him in the team, whether like, obviously, before he was struggling scoring goals and now he's back. So I think that's important, and also with Kelly saying, like, benching Saka would have given Leeds some confidence as well. Like,
yeah,
I kind of agree with that because I think, like, as we all know, Saka has scored a lot of goals, like 12 goals, 10 assists this season. So I think people probably did, from Leeds, probably thought in the first 30 minutes because Saka's not playing, like, they did get a bit of confidence with that. Would you agree with that comment?
yeah. No, yeah. I think any team that sees Saka not playing is going to gain confidence. That boy at the moment is just. I've run out of words to describe him. How brilliant he is.
I know it's hard to
It
describe how
is.
amazing.
Yeah, even for England now, that's the only reason I watch England games because of Saka plays. But he's just amazing. And just to touch back on Jesus, like you said, yeah, it's not just the goals though that he brings. It's his, his
Mm,
technical play, his bit of skills that he can create openings out of nothing. I mean, for that penalty yesterday, there was literally nothing, and he done a couple of skills and got into the box and made the Ayling fall on the floor and tap him. So that bit of skill is what got us the penalty. But his overall play is what we missed. Eddie Nketiah has done brilliant for us. We can't,
mhm.
dispute what he's done, but Jesus just brings another level.
Yeah, I agree. I think kind of everyone has sort of added goals to us, but I think with Jesus, he's just obviously he's played Man City like Zinchenko, and he just
Mm,
brings that leadership, that work experience that we just need in this team. So it's obviously really good to have him back. I did want to touch on Martinelli because I thought he had a really good game. Obviously, assisted the second goal with Ben
yeah.
White, and he has played with quite a few forwards this season, like Saka, Trossard, Nketiah.
Mm,
But for me, like I think he's maturing a lot because he's shown that he can adapt, like and play with other players and still do really well.
mm.
Obviously he did really well with Trossard, with Jesus yesterday. Do you think that sort of tells you a lot about how much he's, like, developing under Arteta and he just keeps getting better and better?
Yeah, no, definitely. He's literally. another player that's just been has come on leaps and bounds this season. Like you said, no matter who's up front, he always seems to find them. He can always pick a ball out to them. He's the sort of player that you love. You know, him and Saka on the wings is terrifying. Any defenders that plays, you know, against Arsenal will be terrified because they're so direct. They'll just come at you, and even if you know they don't go wide, they got the ability and the skill to cut in. And you know, Martinelli's chipped in with a few good goals this season himself, so he can take the weight on his shoulders, and you could just see he's bounced back. You know, because you know the penalties against Sporting Lisbon, he was the one to miss. You know, you thought that might affect him. But no, he's just taking it on in his stride. And next game, he's played brilliantly after the international break.
Yeah, I agree because I think as well, like when he was signing like the new deal, and I guess things happened in the season. I think he was under a bit of like criticism
Yeah,
because, but I just think he's just done. I think he's proven people wrong, and he's doing really well. It's just I've always said this, like I think he's going to have such a bright future, and I do think he's a massive part to our future. I think a lot of it is to do with like his mentality as well. Like you're saying, him missing that penalty would have
mm,
been really hard for him. But like Saka, he's finding a way to bounce back and become
yeah,
like stronger from it.
yeah,
And it's good to have this option like in our team now because we've got a bit more of squad depth. So if like Saka's not playing, there's Trossard, there's Martinelli. So it's really good that we've got that now. And obviously City do have more of a squad depth than us, but I do think that we've got at least we've got one now and we can sort of choose about which players can start this team.
yeah,
I just want to read out Kelly's comment. Martelli is becoming a real team player. At first, I thought he was quite selfish, taking it all on, but actually, he's now creating so much more.
mhm,
I agree with that. Really, I think obviously he does try to, take his chances that he does have. Because you never know, we'll go in and help the team. But I think for me, he does assist. Like I think that assist for Ben White for me, I thought that was really good. I
yeah.
didn't even think he was aiming at Ben White, but
No,
yeah. Thought he was just having a go, but
mm,
yeah, I think that assist was really good. I think he's just growing, becoming a better player as well. And obviously, on our fourth goal, I did want to kind of discuss that because I thought that was just a really good goal. I think
mm,
obviously Odegaard played that beautiful pass, but Granit Xhaka did head it in, like, beautifully, and it was just a beautiful bit of play we did, and I think that sums up Arsenal this season, like, we've been doing bits like that all season.
yeah,
I will talk about Xhaka, obviously, Odegaard's done really well this season, and that pass was amazing and everything like that, but, talking on Xhaka, it's a difficult one because I know fans when that situation happened with him, he weren't his biggest fan, and now the situation is sort of turned around really.
yeah.
Arteta wanted him to stay here, and he can't stop scoring at the moment. He's just had a great season. Talk to me a bit about how you felt about Xhaka and his like journey here at Arsenal.
Yeah, no, I've always been a fan of Xhaka, even when you know the incident happened.
Mm,
I mean, it's part and parcel. He's a human being at the end of the day, like everyone. You know, there's only so much abuse someone can take, and you know, if you're
yeah.
getting it from people and trolls, if you're getting it from you know about your wife, about your newborn baby daughter, and it's going to affect someone. We're only human at the end of the day. So you never know what else was going on with him and stuff like that. So he's reacted as a human would.
Mm,
Uh, but what a comeback story. You know, I know everyone loves a comeback story, and I don't think there's anything better than Xhaka's comeback story. He literally, you can tell he loves the club. He really does love
yeah.
the club. Um, and I don't think he wanted to leave, even when it was the bad times. You know, I just think certain things were happening at the club. And for someone to stay and for Arteta to get him to stay is real credit to him as well. Because it's tough, you know, because he probably had his family thinking, why do you want to stay here for? You're getting all this abuse. But he's chipping in with goals. I mean, Man United last season when he scored that goal as well, you could just tell he's turning it around massively. And for the fans to sing a song about him after what happens just shows you everything, you know, and the love they have for him now. Him and Odegaard, always the last two players off the pitch at the end of a game.
Mm.
And that just tells you something, you know, the captain and the vice captain. But yeah, I love Xhaka, to be fair. I absolutely love him. So does my partner. So, so we
I love
both
that.
love.
It's weird with Shaka because when I ask people, it's like a love-hate relationship. Some people
Yeah,
love him, some people hate him. But I
yeah,
think I think the opinions sort of changed now because I think there were times, I think with the red card situation and everything, I think we were tired of that disciplinary thing and things like that. And I think this season, I just think a lot of the players have become better. Like, it's not just one player who I feel like has just really changed. I do think Arteta has, made these players become better, and obviously the players have put the hard work in, and all of that. But yeah, it's been a difficult one with Xhaka because a lot of people wanted him out after that situation. But the way he's turned it around is amazing, and I just think if we won the league and he won the league with us, I just think that would be very, very special.
Yeah.
Kelly says, "I'm with you, Jonesy. Shaka has always been an amazing player in my eyes. To come through what he did, rise up and be the bigger man." Yeah, I
Mhm.
kind of get that because I think obviously a lot of people didn't know what he was going through with like death threats and that with his
Yeah.
family.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, he wasn't performing the best, but I think as fans, I think they just saw he wasn't performing the best, and
Yeah.
obviously that situation. But I just think because people are understanding a bit more, and he has performed a lot better this season, I think people are a bit more empathetic and supportive of him. And as you said, you've got a song for him, which is lovely, and I just think it's just so amazing how it's been turned around. Like whether
Yeah.
you liked what he did or not, I think everyone is behind him. And like you said, you've been to the Emirates. What have you sort of like made of like the atmosphere? Because obviously, I think it's completely changed to what it was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I haven't seen it like that since it's been built. To be fair, there's been games, odd games where it's been really loud and stuff like that. Like when Arshavin scored and we beat Barcelona, Henry scored and we beat Man United 3-2. There's always been like that big atmosphere. But Bournemouth, the scenes against Bournemouth, literally, I lost all emotions. I lost all control. I was crying. I was with my boy, so he was being lifted up by random people. The stadium
Oh,
was
I love
just,
that.
it was just absolutely mental. And like after the final whistle, nobody went. We're all in there singing a good 10, 15 minutes after the game. But the atmosphere. It's come from the top though. It's come from Arteta.
Mm,
He's changed everything about this club for the good. The atmosphere in the dressing room. I think the documentary has done a hell of a lot for us. We saw inside the changing room. We saw how spoke to the players. How he takes a loss, and you could just see for the first time that they actually care what we feel. Because we always think, oh, they don't care. They're collecting their wages or whatever, but they don't
mm,
really care. But you could see, from like when Stuart, the photographer, when he done
yeah.
the team speech for the Tottenham game, you could tell there's a connection now with the fans and the players. It's never been there before. And Arteta's got rid of the people in that dressing room, who have made it toxic over the last few years.
Mm.
And now there's just like a harmony in that dressing room and it's filtering through into the stands, which is brilliant to see.
Yeah, I definitely think like he has a big part to play in like the culture and all the changes at the club. Like
Mm.
I watched the documentary and I was quite intrigued to see everything, especially with like the Aubameyang situation because
Yeah,
a lot of us had our thoughts on it and we didn't really know all of it about what happened, and it was just like I think what he said at the start, he sort of carried it on. So he said what he meant and he did want to change the culture, but obviously he hadn't had the right players to do that.
yeah,
And those players that weren't working well for under Arteta, have let us down for years. So it has been a difficult one because we've had to give him time, and fans don't really want to wait. But it has been hard under it because I guess we didn't get top four. But I think last season, do you feel like with last season, obviously missing out from Champions League football, do you think that has like pushed the players on and motivated them this season to do better?
yeah. I think so, 100%.
Mm.
That hurt last year. It hurt for
Yeah.
us, but I could only imagine what it felt for them. We could see it. Do you know what I mean in the documentary? So I think they've always got that in the back of their minds. And, I think like when we go to Newcastle in a couple of weeks, I think they're going to have that in their minds. He could use that sort of thing to push them on to make sure we get over the line this time around. But the team's different this year. You can tell they're totally focused. We don't know when to quit now, which is really good for us. And we used to being called pushovers and stuff like that. But at the moment, there's no quitting Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to say hello to everyone? Sorry, if that if that has
So
happened, that would make me funny, honestly. Chelsea do not keep managers.
I don't think he
But
has.
I don't believe that. I don't think that would have happened so soon. I think if that is true, that would honestly make me laugh. But yeah, So I wanted just to kind of discuss Odegaard, Trossard, and I wanted just to read a stat from the game because I thought it was really impressive. Not only Kevin De Bruyne has provided more assists from open play than Trossard in the Premier League this season. Now, Trossard for me, I think he's adapted really well into this Arsenal team. It's like he's been here for years, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Obviously for the Jesus goal, he did amazing, and he's I think he's a massive part to play in like our free flowing football because he's came in, he's been probably this like January. I think for players that have came in like for all of the teams in January, I think he's probably been the sign of that of the season in that sense.
yeah.
Um, I just think he's just added that depth that we need. What if like obviously I want to know what were your thoughts when you heard Trossard was coming in and what have you sort of made of his performances?
Yeah, no, I was actually quite glad that we got him. To be fair, obviously the Mudryk deal didn't happen, and that was a big hoo ha. But from what we identified Trossard quickly, I know he kicked up a stink at Brighton and he left or something and went to stay in Paris. So I think the Arsenal deal was in the works before Arsenal seemed to might have had a word with him about it to push it through because it got done really quick, and that's quite surprising with Arsenal. But he has been absolutely brilliant. Like to be fair. Watching him yesterday, he's got the number 19 shirt on, and he just like reminds me of Santi Cazorla. The way he
I was
links
thinking
up,
that as well.
yeah, the way he links up and can play a ball, and his pass and movement, and picking out Jesus for his goal. It just reminded me of Santi Cazorla, and our business in the January transfer window has been brilliant. To be fair, like you say, it's probably the best bit of business any club done, because no other signings really hit the ground running like them too. Even when Jorginho's come in as well, he's hit the ground running. He's been absolutely brilliant for us. And I was skeptical of Jorginho, another Chelsea player,
Yeah.
but I can't fault him. If he's putting in performances like that, and the goal against Villa, I know we got a slice of luck where it hit Martinez on the head and went in, but for him to actually take the shot, you've got to try these things and they come off sometimes. But both of them have been brilliant. They've stepped in when they needed to.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, with Chelsea players, like sometimes for us, it's been quite a hit or a miss. Like, it'll either be really good or really bad.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think for Jorginho, it was like it for me. It felt like a big risk taking him, but I think he's done really well. Obviously, Partey probably pays more than him because he's our probably more important player to have.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, Trossard's done really well. I think we needed someone to kind of make that impact because obviously with when Jesus was out, there was like Eddie, Saka, maybe Martinelli, but I didn't think it was flowing as much as I wanted to with the
yeah.
scoring goals. But yeah, I think Trossard's done amazing. And I'm very, very happy with our performances regarding that. Um, Now, obviously, our seven upcoming games, I wanted to talk about because it is going to be difficult. I think. We've got Liverpool away, I think West Ham away, Southampton at home, Man City away, and Chelsea at home. So, we've not really got it easy, and you can't really predict what it'll be like in the Premier League because it's quite unpredictable. How are you kind of feeling about going into them games? Do you think we can keep this winning momentum going up? Because it almost feels like with this Arsenal team, we'll always find ways to win and find that way. So, how are you feeling about them fixtures?
At the moment, I'm feeling really confident. Any game at the moment we're going into, I think we should feel confident. We're top of the league for a reason. We're 8 points
Mm,
clear for a reason. I don't think we should be going anywhere and being scared. I think Saka said that in the interview last game. He said we shouldn't be scared, to go into any game at the moment. Liverpool ain't the same Liverpool of the last few years. You could see that
yeah.
once City got their first goal back, Liverpool just crumbled. I think it's key we start early at Anfield. We get an early goal. Um,
Mm,
they could be in for a tough evening, Liverpool. But I'm not even too concerned about going to the Etihad. I think we're due a win at City.
yeah.
And City, by the time we get to City, they've got a crucial game in the Champions League coming up as well. So in between that and Brighton. Um, so depending what happens from now until that game, if we go even further clear, say 11, 12 points clear, they
Yeah.
might even, I'm just saying, they might even just think, you know what, we're going to put all our eggs in the Champions League basket because I know that's what Pep wants the most. And if he wants to do that, I'm not going to complain. But yeah, I'm not scared of, to be fair, any game at the moment. I think this team has got the confidence and the belief that they can go into it and get a result.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it's a weird one with like say Liverpool. Obviously, we're playing them on Sunday. I think. They've obviously beat United, like, what was it, 7-0 or something, and that was a massive result, but since then,
Mm,
they've not really managed to perform really at their standard that they should have, and obviously at the weekend, the way I watched them against Man City, I just thought Man City were just levels above them, but
mm,
obviously we've not won at the Anfield since, like, I think 2013 or something like that,
yeah.
so it's always a difficult place to go, and obviously with Man City, I think it's harder for them in that sense because they have got the Champions League. Would they
Mhm,
want to just put all their eggs in like one basket and go for the Champions League? Obviously, Pep hasn't won that with Man City, so
yeah.
it's obviously really tough. Let me know in the comments as well what you guys think because we do have it hard. And it has actually been announced on Twitter that Potter has been sacked,
Oh,
which
it
I
has.
am surprised about.
Wow.
Obviously Chelsea is a game we do have. I think at the end of this month. I just don't know what I'm going to say about that game. I don't know. Obviously whoever their new manager will be, they might have that new manager bounce for like a
Yeah.
little bit, but I just think we've been very successful against Chelsea in recent
Mm.
like last season as well. I think we've been good. How and I think we're actually at home, but how are you what were you feeling about that game? Do you think we can win it? I do.
Yeah, no, yeah, Chelsea don't seem to, even if a new manager comes in, yeah, they might have the
Yeah,
bounce, but by the time we play him, I think he'll be bedded in whoever they get, but he's still got to deal with the current crop of players he's got, and at the moment they don't seem to be firing on all cylinders. There's a lot of players that Chelsea have brought in, and you've got to try and they're kind of like a more updated version of Nottingham Forest. They've brought so many players. It's just they've
yeah.
got to try and fit them in and how they play together. It's going to be tough
Mm.
because if they bring in someone now, I don't know what their expectations are of this new manager. Hopefully to try and achieve top four, but they're way off the pace. So it's a bit strange to sack him now. I thought they would have waited till at least the end of the season because whoever comes in now has probably got a tougher job than he had. So it is a very strange one.
It's
But
just like I'm quite surprised about it. It's just quite strange. Like they don't really give managers time, but
no.
yeah, we've got that fixture coming up, and as Kelly said, Liverpool haven't been very good. If we keep playing the way we do, we should be unbeatable. Like I feel like that. I feel like when we go to Liverpool, like we should win with the
Mm.
players we have, and with them not doing good, it should be a win. But I did want to ask you about the league. Obviously going to the league, a lot of us probably didn't think the season at the start of the season we would be in the position that we are right now. I was surprised to see we're in the title race, but I'm very happy. What have your kind of thoughts been on the season, and have you been quite like obviously you go to the games a lot and you do see the atmosphere, the changes. So what are your thoughts been on the season really?
It's to be fair, it's been amazing. Whatever
Yeah.
happens from now until the end, if it does go wrong and we don't win it, it's going to be gutting. No Arsenal
Mm.
supporter will sit here and say, "Oh, if it's all right, we would go into top four." No, you will be gutted. I can guarantee you will be gutted. But I will still be happy with what we've done this season. We've challenged for the league title when nobody give us a shot to even some pundits were saying we wouldn't even get in the top four. Um, so to do what
That's
we've done
ridiculous.
exactly to do what we've done so far this season should it's full credit. And if we could go the extra mile and actually win it, then I don't know what I will do at the end of the season. There's someone have to send that search party for me because I'll be out for I don't know how long. But it's just been
Yeah,
amazing.
well,
It's literally
do you
been
know,
amazing.
for me, because obviously as a younger fan, I've never seen Arsenal win the league, so I'm
Mm,
I'm so desperate for us to win it. But I think for me in my head, I am taking a game at a time
yeah,
because listen, Man City are very good this season. They've got Haaland and so many amazing players, and we still have to play them.
yeah,
I do think we will get something from that game because I just think the players have that fire in their belly because obviously we lost them the season, and I think a lot of it was mistakes we did make, but I just think the team will be so determined to get something out of that game. So for me, I definitely think it'll be close. I hope it doesn't go down like to the last game because I
Yeah,
couldn't take it. My anxiety would
I
be
don't
awful.
want that. Don't want that.
Imagine being at that last game and thinking, "Oh my god, we have to do this." Yeah, so Arsenal have already won. The way the Arsenal community have pulled together, the love and respect everyone has for each other. I think Arteta has really changed the culture here. I just think it's amazing to see how connected the fans are, and obviously, like the season Arsene Wenger coming back.
Yeah,
I never thought that would ever have happened with how it ended with that, and obviously with Unai Emery, that sort of ended bad as well. So I think Arteta does have a lot of like to be I think Arteta has, helped us with that culture change and that positive atmosphere,
yeah,
around the team, around the fans, and obviously, like you said, Odegaard, Xhaka are the ones sometimes at the end to go around and clap at the end because it feels like they appreciate us as fans, and
yeah.
I guess for a few seasons ago we probably wouldn't have felt that way.
No, not at all. No,
So,
they used to just
mm,
walk off. To be fair, like last few seasons, Aubameyang as captain would always be the first down the tunnel. He wouldn't even be the last one out, applauding the fans. He was gone. Do you know what I mean? So you can tell now that players actually do care.
yeah, definitely. I think it's been a massive change. Like you were saying about the documentary before, with the Aubameyang situation, I guess with us or getting rid of players that we're here for a while, but we need to move them on. I think Arteta has done that a lot. I did want to talk to you about like the signings they brought in. Obviously, I just think they've done a really good job recruitment wise. Arteta and Edu. Do you kind of like in the summer? I do think we might win the league, but if we don't, we'll be second. Do you kind of think you have faith in them for whoever they might bring in the summer?
Yeah, I think you've got it now, because they're identifying targets and they're not going to be held to ransom. Because let's face it, that's what Shakhtar done. They wanted us to pay crazy money, and we wouldn't. But what was good was to see we had a plan B, and what's helped is the plan Bs have been better than the plan As. So if you ask any Chelsea fan right now, who would they take, Trossard or Mudryk? I'm sure 90% of them would say Trossard. So the plan Bs have been far better than the plan As, and it just seems like they've got a plan now. They identify the areas we need, and they're not afraid to go in and go for these players. But then again, they're not willing to pay stupid money, which we have done in the past. Silly contracts, silly prices. Pepe being one. But we're a lot more smarter in the transfer window now, and it's good. It's good to see, and I've got faith that they'll bring in what we need in the summer.
Yeah, I agree because obviously there were a few players that obviously haven't worked out, but I think the majority of them have done really well here. For me, one that I think is really important, like Odegaard coming in. I think he was about 25 million, something like that, and
Yeah,
I think he came for a season, he did good, but I think people maybe wanted more of him to score more goals, and I think he was under a lot of criticism actually, and he's this season, I think he's had the best season. He's really shown Arsenal's his home, and this is where he wants to be.
hmm,
Um, I just think a lot of these players that he's brought in have really stepped up this season, especially. Of For me, Gabriel Magalhaes is one that I think has really
yeah,
stepped up, done a really good job. For you this season, what players do you think have had? I know it's hard to pick who's had a really
yeah.
good season because it's been all of them, but what players for you do you think have been a massive impact for us to where in the position we are right now in the league?
It's got to be Zinchenko and
Mm,
Jesus. They've brought in. They haven't just brought in their technical ability. They've brought in their winning mentality as well. Um, I watched the Man City documentary. That's if anyone wants to watch it, they should because it shows what Zinchenko's like in the dressing room. Even though he wasn't captain for Man City, he was still giving
mm,
team talks, and then he rallies the troops, and stuff like that. It's just that mentality and having players like Zinchenko and even I would say Jorginho as well, who we brought in January as well. He's won the European Championships, he's won Champions League, and stuff like that. He's the player. They're the players we need around this young crew we've got at the moment, and they're going to help
mm,
them, over the line. When say it does go to the wire, it was like 2 points in it or whatever, and we need to win. Players like Jesus, Zinchenko, Jorginho, they've been there, they've done it, they know what it is to get over the line, and they can help the likes of Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard, they can help them get over the line and give them the confidence and show them the way, sort of thing. But them
Mm.
two for me have probably been, like you say, the best. As for the old group, Gabriel, like you say, he's been brilliant at the back, rock solid. Him and Saliba have just been, probably the best partnership in the Premier League. And I say Xhaka again, the way he's led the team when, Partey hasn't been there. We've missed him for most of the games this season, but Xhaka's been there. He's stepped up in the middle. And we've not had any Xhaka moments, which has been brilliant this season. Touch wood,
Yeah.
there isn't any to come, but you can see the team just works for each other now, and they all care. They literally care for each other as well. You can tell the way, like you said, Odegaard give the ball to Jesus.
That's lovely, isn't it,
It
honestly?
is. Yeah, it's great to see stuff like that.
I know, because I think with that, like, Odegaard could have just if he was that type of player, like, say he was like a Bruno Fernandes, he would have took
Yeah,
it for himself, so I
exactly.
think
Yeah.
it just shows you, like, how lovely it is, and I just think that shows you what a great captain he is because he does want the best for his team, he wants to see others succeed, and
Mhm.
it's obviously really hard to pick a lot of players that have stood out, like, a few, because to me, I think they all have.
Mm.
I think in the midfield, that Odegaard, Partey, that has been really good. They've been good with Xhaka as well. Um, I just think everyone, and like you said, with like Ben White as well,
Yeah.
he, I just think he's been really good this season. I think he was under a lot of heat and pressure. I think a
Mm.
lot of people were doubting him with the price tag and everything, but for me, I just think he has, showed what an amazing player he is, what amazing signing, and I've gotta say I do love his interviews. He's just he's quite funny to watch, but yeah, I just think he's a good character to have because I feel like he's a player that people like hate, rival fans just hate because he's he's just one of those characters that I just love to have in the team.
Yeah.
I did want to answer this for you. Um, who do you think's the most underrated Arsenal player in this team?
I would say Gabriel. Gabriel at the
Yeah,
back. He goes very unnoticed. He doesn't get the praise. You don't see him ever do an interview after the game. I know Saliba's done some, Zinchenko's done a load, but you never see Gabriel. I don't know if it's just might be the language barrier or whatever, but he
yeah.
goes under the radar. He just does his job, does it well. And he's another one. He's always celebrating. He makes a tackle. I don't know if the cameras pick it up all the time on telly, but he's raw. He's like he scored a goal if he clears the ball out
Mm.
for the corner. And that's what you want to defend. You want your central defender to do. Celebrate their moments. But yeah, he's probably the most underrated player, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really hard one actually. I think I think I've always said like Gabriel Magalhaes for me has people probably don't give him that credit. Obviously, in the game, whoever scores will probably get the
Yeah,
credit, and rightly so. I'd probably say him. I think I wouldn't say Martinelli's underrated, but I think for me, he's just such a player I love in this team. I think a lot of it goes to Saka because he's
yeah,
doing really well, but I think Martinelli. I just think our team we have now, our squad. I just think we do really have a bright future. I think, even if we don't win the league this season, I just think we're gonna keep improving. We'll probably bring better players in to help this team. So yeah, and also this. I love that.
yeah.
Um, hello Lee. Lee's asked what's been your standout moment of the season so far? I think yours will be the Bournemouth game.
Yeah. It's that Reece Nelson goal. It's just the scenes. I've never seen anything like it. Limbs everywhere. I got a black eye. I think that day as well in my eye. Just elbowed. I couldn't even find my son. He was being lifted up and he was over that side of the crowd. So it was mental. Absolutely mental.
That game was, like, mental, and I think for me, when we were, like, losing 2-0, I was thinking in my head, like, "Surely this is it, like, are we
Mm.
really gonna score 3 goals in, like, however long we've got left?" That one's definitely up there. I love how crazy everyone went, especially on, like, the internet and
Yeah.
at the game. I also love that Man United game, winning right at the end. That goal from Eddie was really good. I loved the North London derby when we won 3-1 because I was at the game as well, and I saw that Partey free kick, that Xhaka goal, I think,
Mm.
and I just watched that and I was just like, do you know, you just admire the team and just think this team is so special. Like that was my moment for
Yeah.
me of the season. Let me know in a comment as well what your moment of the season or your favorite game because it's been a joy to be an Arsenal fan this season. Yeah, it's been good. So if you've got any questions you wanted to ask me, but yeah, I did want to briefly touch on the women's game today, just getting your initial thoughts. I don't know if you've watched it, but I'll just sort of, get your thoughts. I probably will talk about it in more detail tomorrow. I think I've got Georgie coming on, but
Yeah,
um, we beat Man City 2-1. It was for me a very stressful game to watch
yeah.
because the first half wasn't our best. What do you make of like that result for us, and how important do you think it is for like the title race for us winning the league?
Yeah, well, it's literally blown the title race wide open, isn't it? We've moved up into second now um, with that result. Katie McCabe, I thought she was done for the season. She was in the boot the
So
other
did
night.
I.
And then to
She
see
was
her,
in crutches on Wednesday, and now she's
yeah,
just scored a worldie.
exactly, yeah. And I know she's a bit hot-headed because I did see what she did with Chloe Kelly.
Yeah, it was a bit. Do you know what's annoying about that is because for our next game she's suspended, and I'm
Yeah,
like, Casey.
yeah. Sometimes she just needs to calm it down. She's like the Xhaka of the women's team at the moment, so she's a bit hot-headed, so she
Yeah,
just needs to
she's
calm it
quite
down.
fiery, isn't she?
Yeah, she is very. But it's blown the title race wide open. Literally, it could be any one of them teams could snatch it now. I know the emphasis is on Chelsea. They're playing. Are they playing now? Is it? I think. Or they're playing Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
just check.
I think they're playing Villa at the moment. So, and
Oh,
they've got
they've won 3-0, so I think
one for now. There you go. So we're not second then anymore.
no, we're first, but I think yeah, we're just 2 points behind Chelsea, I think. But
Yeah, we've got to play Chelsea. I think isn't it next? Is it? I
oh
think it's either
god,
next or the game after. But we win that. You never know. It could be a double title celebration. This double open top bus parade going through the streets of Islip.
I'd love that. That'd be amazing.
It was. It would indeed.
Yeah. It's Caitlin Foden. Do you know what? I saw her go off
Yeah.
early in that game. I hope to God she's not injured because our luck with injuries this season has been ridiculous. Like,
Mm,
and especially with Kim Little out, I'm just like, it's probably Kim Little's such an important player for me for the season. Talking on like the Women's Super League, it's like you said, anyone could win it right now. Who are you feeling right now that could win it?
uh,
It's a
you know,
hard question.
yeah. I want to say Arsenal, don't I? Obviously, it has to be Arsenal, but if it wasn't Arsenal, I can see United nicking it. Maybe um,
Yeah.
they've looked very good this season. Hopefully, they don't win it, and Russo wants to join a team that might win it next year. Because I absolutely love to see her in an
Oh,
Arsenal
I'd love
shirt
for
next year.
Arsenal.
Oh, that's my dream for her to be at Arsenal. It'd be brilliant. I just think with her, Viv, and Beth all back next season, it would be great. But we've got the Champions League as well this season, so there's plenty to look forward to. And like I say, the title race is hotting up in the WSL. So I don't know. Arsenal, I still think Arsenal will do it. I think we can get over the line. Depends the Champions League. It might get in the way for us, like it might get in the way for City in the men's
Mm.
game. If we're too far away from it, maybe we just go for Champions League. I don't know. It's a tough one to call at the moment.
It's so hard because
Mm,
I sort of feel like Chelsea obviously know what it's like, so they have that experience, they know how to get over the line.
yeah,
They've also got in the semi-finals, in
yeah,
the Champions League as well. But I think United, like, because they've not won it and I probably didn't expect them to do so well this season, it's like I just think they have the players, they have the quality. Maybe not, they don't know how to do it like Chelsea or us, but
mm,
yeah, I love that. I think it's good for women's football because it shows you how competitive it's becoming. Because
yeah,
it could be anyone. Did want to touch on though, obviously the Champions League. We got through to semi-finals.
yeah,
What what do you make of that? Obviously, we do play Wolfsburg, but for me, I do notice Barcelona are just the best. They just play perfect football. I think we do as well in
yeah.
some senses, but with injuries, our luck this season um hasn't been great. And no, Lee, I would not want that.
No.
Or maybe I would if we would win that, but if we lost that, I would be really gutted.
Mm.
But yeah, how are you? Do you think we'll kind of get to the final, or what are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, Wolfsburg. I saw them play Arsenal in the Champions League last season at the Emirates, and they're a tough team to play against.
Yeah,
They're a very good team that's been around the Champions League for quite a long while. In the women's game. So it'll be tough if we get through. I see Barcelona getting to the final because they're just
Yeah, they're out of this world.
yeah, they are out of this world. I mean, and then it's tough to play Barcelona women's team when you got a full fit 11, knowing that we're probably missing our two best players, and hopefully we don't get any more injuries if we do get to the final. It will be a very tough game, but like you say, it's a 90-minute game. Anything can happen. I wasn't confident in the Conti Cup final against Chelsea because I went to the FA Cup game the week before, and Chelsea comfortably beat us there. But then we turned it on against Chelsea and won. So you never know. Anything could happen. But I'd love to see us win the Champions League again. It would be brilliant.
That would be so amazing. I think for the Arsenal women's team as well, after the season, the injuries we've had, it would be good. I do think we will get to the final, but I just think Barcelona are just so good and
Yeah,
they've got so much like squad depth for no injuries. I hope Ford's isn't too bad because I think she's just a player we can't
no,
afford to
definitely.
be injured. And obviously with McCabe suspended, I think it's only for one game, which is good. But yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on my channel today. I hope you all enjoyed us chatting about the Leeds game, bit of the women's football. I will be back tomorrow night at 7 to chat with Georgie about the women's game and probably a bit about the men's season. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Jonesy, do you know, to those that might want to follow you on like Twitter or whatever social media
Yeah,
platforms, could you just tell them where to find you?
yeah, sure. Just generally on Twitter, giving my views about everything. But yeah, it's at Jonesy86. Yep, you'll find me there. And I just want to say thank you for inviting me on the show. I just want to say you're amazing and you're breaking barriers. So keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, you're too kind.
You're doing well. You're doing brilliant. You're absolutely brilliant what you're doing at the moment.
Oh, you're honestly just so kind. I've really enjoyed this. It's been so lovely to chat to you about Arsenal, about the women's team, and yeah, I hope you all can follow Jonesy on Twitter because he just posts great content and I love your tweets.
Thank
um,
you.
thank you very much, Lee, for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, it did go quick. I guess when you're talking about Arsenal, it just goes like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go now, and I just wanted to say thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, and yeah, I will see you all tomorrow evening. Goodbye.